I'm going to show you a granny square. So it's a crochet motif that begins with a foundation chain ring. So make foundation chain. I'm going to go about, I'm going to try 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to make sure I get a nice ring that you can see easily on the video. All right, to then form my chain into a ring like so, and then I'm going to crochet single crochets into the ring. I'm going to do 8 of those. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. All right. Then I'm going to close this ring by taking a slip stitch into the first stitch of my ring. Now I'm going to make some vertical height by making a chain 2 stem there, and then I'm going to do a double crochet into the first stitch. So the same stitch that I closed my ring on, I'm going to make a double crochet, and then I'm going to make another one into the very same stitch. Oop, I lost that one. Here we go again. All right, so the chain 2 is here, the first double crochet is here, and the second double crochet is here. Now the granny square, in order to form the square shape, needs an outside edge, so we're going to do a chain 2 there to make a space. Then we're going to do some more double crochets. We're going to skip this next stitch here and then go into this next one. So we're going to do some double crochets like so. Make 3 of them into the same stitch here. And then I'm going to chain 2 again to make the next opening, and then skip this stitch, go into this stitch here. Oop, I need to wrap this around once. Make a double crochet. One, 2, 3. Okay, then to make our next space, I'm going to chain 2, and then skip this stitch and go into this next one here. 3 double crochets again. And then chain 2 and connect this chain 2 to the beginning of that first cluster of 3 that I made. So that's closed with a slip stitch again. So let's just take a look at what we've got here. We've got the foundation ring here with a row of single crochet around. That's 8 single crochets around the ring, and then chain 2 double crochet, chain 2 here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and chain 2 again, then closing. All right, now our next set of our cluster I want to do in another color to make the traditional granny square pattern. So I'm going to snip my current yarn and pull that tail through my chain stitch and get another color to work the next section. So what I'm going to do is make a slip knot in my new color, put that on my hook, and then make a slip knot in one of my openings, or not a slip knot, a slip stitch, one of my openings, just to get this attached. So now I'm hooked onto this opening. Then I'm going to chain 2 and do 2 more double crochets into this opening. All right, so it's the chain 2 and then 2 double crochets. It looks like a cluster of 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 2 to make a side space and skip all the way over to this opening where I'm going to do 3 double crochets. All right, now because this is growing, we need to have one more cluster of 3 in this same opening. This is going to form a corner. So I'm going to make a chain 2 and then 3 more double crochets into the same opening. Here's the third one. So you can see how that forms a corner here with those 3 and then chain 2 and 3 more. All right, so then chain 2 to make this new outside edge opening, and then you're going to do 3 double crochets into this corner. All right, now in the pink I need to make a new outside corner, so I'm going to chain 2 and then 3 double crochet into the same opening. I made a new corner here, and then chain 2. I'm going to go into this opening out here, 3 double crochets, and and then chain 2, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into the same opening. I'm going to catch this tail as I go by it. And so the tail is getting wrapped around, or wrapped into this work I'm doing on the blue opening. So it's weaving it in as I'm going by instead of at the end. All right, so now I've got 2 sets of 3 double crochets separated by a chain 2. I'm going to chain 2 to make this next side. And because when I began this pink round, I did 3 double crochets in this first opening to start, I need to add the other 3. So I'm going to just put 3 more into this opening at the beginning to finish off the square. I said I put 3 double crochets in at the beginning, but actually it was a chain 2 and then 2 double crochets. All right, so after you've got the 3 double crochets here, we're going to add a chain 2 to make the 4th corner and close it by slip stitching into the beginning of the 3 double crochets there. All right, so this is the end of my pink round. Let me just show you how that looks. Chain ring and a single crochet round that, then spaced out 3 double crochets, skip a stitch, 3 double crochets all the way around with chain 2s in between. The chain 2s are now tucked underneath these clusters of pink double crochets. See, we don't see them anymore. But this is our pink round done. So then I'm going to trim this one and pull that tail through. And we'll do our last round in this granny square. A granny square can go on and on. So for this purpose, I'm just going to make 3 colors. All right, so begin with a slip stitch. And you can pick one of your openings. Any of the openings will do. It can be a corner one or a side opening, just for beginning your next color. So you start with a slip stitch to lock your new color in, chain 2. That will work as a double crochet in this very first bundle, and then we need 2 more here. And then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to move into this next opening right here to make a corner in this turquoise color. 3 double crochets here. There are lots of ways of making a granny square, and you'll come across lots of different ways. There was 3 double crochets and 2 chain, so you can take that into consideration. You might come across patterns that have a different way of starting your ring. Sometimes you will make your double crochets right into the ring and start right away without a single crochet round. Some of the granny squares will have fewer spacer chains in between clusters, where I'm using a chain 2 each time, like this. Some will have just chain 1 on the sides openings. These openings on the side will just be chain 1, and then they'll have chain 2 in the corner, or maybe 2 chain on the sides and 3 in the corner, and it just produces a slightly different design. So there's not one single way of producing a granny square. All right, so I'm doing 3 double crochets into the side. Going to make a space by chain 2, and then 3 double crochets into this corner. Turquoise corner will be chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets here. Then chain 2. 3 more double crochets into this opening. And then to the next corner again. So there's the first side of my corner, and I'm going to chain 2, and then I will build up the turn, and then 3 double crochets again. All right, then chain 2, and now in this case you can see here's my tail for my pink, and I could just lay it down like this next to my work, and then when I go to make my double crochets into this space, I can just catch that tail as I work around, and it will be weaving it in for me as I go. So there's my opening plus this tail, just catching it. Chain 2 to make a space, and then we're at this other corner. I'm going to bring my tail all the way to the corner. So 3 double crochets into this pink corner. Then chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets into this corner. And then chain 2 and close this turquoise round with a slip stitch into the beginning of that cluster of turquoise at the beginning. So let me snip that tail, and we can pull that through, and there. All right, so here's our granny square, and so you can see after you get this first round or second round started, each of the corners will have a pair of clusters so that you can build out these corners here each time. And each round is going to increase the number of side openings you have. We started out, we didn't have any side openings in this blue. We only had the corner openings. But then once we got through this pink round, we formed one side opening on each side of the square, and 4 corners, of course. And then when we went to the turquoise, we started to form 2 sets of squares along each of the sides, along with our corners. And that will just continue. So that's how you make a granny square. Enjoy. Thank you.